won't be able to go through all of this now.
That's fine.
Hey, you guys.
Hey guys.
Can you tell me if you can hear us? All right, Sasha. Yeah, you can hear us. Okay.
They can hear us?
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, I'm gonna get started and yes, ma'am. Okay, I'm gonna get started just to explain a few things, and then we're gonna get into the energies and explaining what's going on. First of all, I want just to address a small issue that's been happening this past week. And it's regarding people reaching out for support. You know, I always make myself available. I'm always here to help you, to try to guide you. Obviously, I do the best I can. I can do it better with my own clients because I already connected with the energies and I'm aware of your own journey. But for some of you from my private group and for some of you that I've connected before, I try to do it as well. I understand that lately it's the energy is really heavy, and I understand that you're all going through a lot. But I have received a few private messages that weren't that nice on my inbox. And so I just wanted to address the fact that I do my best to help all of you. And I do it out of my heart and out of my own energy. And obviously it takes a lot for me to stay in my own high vibration without being affected by what happens around me. But obviously when some of you address me on a lower energy and ask me to literally engage in your own lower vibration, I have to be careful about it. And what I've noticed is that as much as I try to help you, and I give my own guidance and my own advice, some people want to hear, but they don't want to listen. So if you follow my blog, you know that I'm blunt, you know that I'm honest. I wouldn't be doing you a favor if I wouldn't give you my personal opinion and my own guidance on your personal situation. So I just wanted to say that if people get triggered, offended, hurt by what I say, or by what I not say because I don't engage in order not to lower my vibration, I apologize. But we're all going through the same, okay? And I try to help as much as I can, but I cannot lower my vibration and go down the ladder to try to help you in your own situation if you don't want to listen to what I have to say. So I just wanted to address that fact. So as you all know, me and Mike connected back in July. We've been doing some progressive work with the collective. We've also been doing some healing and some changing some ideas from the masculine and the feminine, try to understand how the dynamics work. And we were actually supposed to have a live session on Sunday. And Mike came to visit. And so we were all excited about having the live session with all of you and share with you things that we found out together. And then Mike arrived, and on Saturday was trigger day. And we basically triggered the crap out of each other over the weekend. And it wasn't pretty. And we actually realized that it was happening with the whole collective as well, as we started to receive messages from some of you. And it is happening to all of us. It's happening to the collective. It's a very fragile energy at the moment. There are a lot of triggers from our past wounds being brought up to the surface now. It's great, it's awesome, it's for healing. We should embrace them as much as possible. But we actually understood how important it is to express your feelings. I've noticed that, well, also with the masculine, but mostly with the divine feminine, what's happening is that there are a lot of triggers related with past experiences of toxic relationships, abusive relationships. And so it brings us back to a place in time where we weren't able to speak our mind, where we wanted to say, no, I don't want this, I don't like it, and we didn't. And so I think for most of us, we experienced that loss of our own voice at some point in our lives. And so we're being faced with that once again, with situations that are not in alignment with our own energy. We don't want to do it, we don't like it, it's uncomfortable. And I just want to bring some clarity to all of you today that we are not who we were before this journey started, and we have our voices back. And so finally we can say no, and we can stop situations from happening, and we can express ourselves without being afraid, okay? Because we are free now. There's no reason to be in fear anymore. That's it. The worst is gone. And so I really, really wanted to give you back your voice today, and we will be talking about that. But I'm going to let Mike explain
Hi guys.
What happened to us on Saturday.
Far away. Okay, so basically on Saturday, me and Anna went out for the day. We ended up visiting a market. Where was that again?
Yeah, food market, like a street market. Yeah,
like a food street market. And we went around, we went for a coffee, and on the way back, we decided to get some fruit to take home with us and some strawberries. And on the way through, I'd seen this stand and it had lemons for sale. Now I'm going to try and explain this to all of you without laughing here, because in hindsight it's quite funny. But there was this one stand that had these lemons for sale, and it was 3 lemons for €1.25. And we passed it and we went to the next stand. And we saw these strawberries, and I mean, there were strawberries like everywhere, and we weren't sure like which ones to choose. So we went to this one particular stand, and Anna was like, oh, should we get these strawberries here? And I was like, yeah, sure, let's go for it, thinking that I was going to go back to this other stall and get these lemons. So I'd like made the decision I was going to go back to this other stand. And the woman brought the strawberries over, and then Anna goes, oh, do you have any lemons as well? And I sort of looked at her like, didn't say anything. And the woman said something in Dutch, which I didn't understand. And she disappeared, and she came back, some lemons in a bag, and gave them to Anna. And Anna handed her the money, and then we left. And I didn't say anything. And then I said to Anna, how many lemons did you get? And she's like, I got 2. And I'd already decided I wanted 3. So I was like, damn, I'm a lemon down. I was like, how much did you pay for it? She was like, I paid €1. And all of a sudden I was like, okay, so I'm a lemon down, and we've just paid extra money. And pretty much if we were to have bought 3, then it would have cost us to buy 3 on the other stand. So we were walking back to the car park, and on the way back, I was sort of ticking over the situation, like it's going around in my head, and I was like, damn. And you know how these things play out in your head sometimes, where something bothers you and you can't seem to shake it off straight away, and it got progressively worse. And we got back to the car park, and we went up to the car, and I was like, you okay? And excuse my language, guys, but I was sat in the car and I was like, actually, no, I'm not. I'm really pissed off. And she's like, why? And I was like, do you know what the worst thing is? I don't even know why I'm pissed off. I was like, because surely, like, at first I'm thinking, this whole situation with these lemons has like ruined my day. It's like turned the day on its head completely. It's in such a good mood. And I was like, surely some incident with lemons can't do this.
No.
Obviously not. So started to talk about the situation more and the way I was feeling. And through doing that, sort of came to the realization that it wasn't, in fact,
The lemon.
It wasn't the lemons that bothered me. So with me coming and visiting Anna, what's actually happened is I have very much stepped more into my masculine energy, or not just stepped, but being with Anna has pushed me more into my masculine energy, and vice versa. So she's been pushed more into her feminine energy. And at the time when we were at that market, because I was in my masculine energy, I had made that decision within me, like, right, I want those lemons. I'm going to buy those lemons at that stand. And that's how much I'm going to pay. And that's how many lemons I'm getting. And we're going to walk away and we're going to go home. And what Anna actually did, and unconsciously as well, because obviously she didn't do it intentionally, but what she did was she took control of the situation without saying anything to me. So I thought we were going to take the strawberries from this woman and go back to the next stand. And the fault lied in me not expressing myself like Anna's just spoken about, but the fact that it wasn't that she so much just took over the situation as it felt as though she took my power away, because I was very much in my power, had made that conscious decision that those were the lemons I was buying. And by doing that and taking that away from me, I very much felt like I'd had my power taken away.
Yeah.
So it continued to grate on me until we sort of came to that realization. And then once I come to that realization, I was like, huh, okay. So this is actually a really good learning curve. We're learning a lot being around one another. So actually I took the experience more as something to learn, as opposed to letting it continue to progress.
Hopefully.
Okay, it gets better, guys. There's more. So I let that one slide after we come to this realization. But earlier on during the day, as I said, we'd gone for coffee. And while we were at this place, there was these guys, a guy playing guitar, playing music across the water. And I was like, oh, where's that music coming from? It sounds really, really good. So after we finished drinking coffee, we went over to see this guy, and I said to her before we went over, I was like, I really hope they sell a CD. And lo and behold, we went over there and they did. So I bought the CD. I was like, wicked, that's ace. So after the lemon altercation, we went back, we got back to Anna's, and we unpacked the stuff we bought, and I took the CD out of the bag and put it on the side. We carried on doing bits and pieces, whatever. We made some food. Can't remember. We did a few other things. But a bit later on, I came into the living area in here, and there was some music playing. And I was like, damn, this music's really good. I was like, this doesn't sound like the kind of thing Anna listens to. I was like, it's starting to put me in a really good mood. And I was like, where's this coming from? So I look over on the side. And the CD case is there next to Anna's laptop. And I look at it and I'm like, oh no. So I walked over and opened the CD case. And there were 2 CDs in the case. And one of them is now not in the case. At which point I was like, huh, okay. So I looked at Anna and she just sat there on the sofa all chilled, like, yeah. And again, I was like, rather than
It's just a CD full of...
It's just a CD, guys. But this is not actually about, this is not so much about the details, as the effect it has on our energy. So again, very much being in my masculine, because I've already been triggered through what happened earlier with the lemons. I looked at the CD and I was like, so now she's gone and taken my CD without asking and just put it in the player, started playing it. And I know it sounds, in hindsight, it sounds ridiculous, because really, am I that bothered that Anna went and helped herself to the CD I bought and put it in the laptop to play? No, of course I'm not. But again, I got triggered by that situation, because it was, in a sense, it felt like having my power taken away from me, almost like my ability and choice to make my own decisions was being taken from Anna. So I didn't actually address that one. I just sat down. Thankfully, I like the music so much. Thank you.
I'm not horrific. I'm just very relaxed. I'm sorry.
So I chose not to address that one until later on in the evening, where we actually reflected on everything that had been happening, had a good laugh and a joke about it.
Yeah.
And then I was able to, like I say, we were able to have a laugh and a joke about it, as opposed to letting it affect the rest of our day. But that's just a couple of examples of things that happened to us over the weekend with regards to being triggered, and the way it made me feel as a masculine, being in my masculine energy.
See these in lemons. Yes, absolutely.
Literally.
But Mike, we were talking about it, and it's about expressing yourself, right? It's the what triggers you and what keeps you trapped in that angry energy is the fact that you don't express yourself and you don't say, no, I don't like it, or when you do this, makes me feel like that.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of.
So what it's done is actually very much highlight the importance of, and this goes for all of us as well, but particularly, I would say, not particularly, but for twins that are actually in union, it highlights the importance of discussing your feelings with one another, you know, because there are ways in which that situation could have been avoided. Firstly, through me saying at the stand, hang on, Anna, wait a sec, because
drop the lemon.
Drop the lemons. Now, I've seen these over here. So firstly, I didn't express myself in that situation. But secondly, is about us actually sitting down together and being like, when we feel triggered by things like that, saying, okay, I feel triggered like this because of this situation, and this is how it's making me feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, you know, other situations where you may both get triggered, and it really highlights the importance of, rather than you allowing this sort of negative, like, space of energy to build up between the two of you, to break that in a sense by openly discussing the way that you are feeling and being able to sit down and say, okay, look, this is how I'm feeling about this situation. And for, you know, whoever you're with at the time, or for those of you that are in union or with your twin, for your twin to be able to sit down and be like, okay, this is how I'm feeling, and then go from there. So it really has highlighted the importance of not bottling things up, because all you do essentially is bottle that energy inside you, and it becomes stagnant and it builds up.
And negative.
And negative,
yeah.
Exactly. Negative, and it builds up inside you and becomes stagnant. And then 9 times out of 10, it can come out in an eruption, so to speak.
Yeah.
Or in like a negative burst, as opposed to sort of preventing that from happening through straight away off the bat expressing how you feel.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's actually, Haley was saying that, yeah, communication is key in all relationships, but, you know, very special in a twin flame connection, because for me and Mike, it's a little bit different because we don't have the same triggers. Okay, I don't trigger him the same way his twin triggers him. Thank God, I'm still alive. But we don't have the same triggers, so we kind of when he reacts to something, it doesn't resonate with me, because it's not my own trigger. So it's easier for us to kind of navigate those energies. If the communication is between the two twins, then it gets complicated. Then you really need to sit down and talk and discuss it, because it's something that affects both of you equally, and it's a trigger that belongs to both of you. So we actually understood that it's easier for us to deal with a trigger that it's not ours, because it doesn't affect me, you know. I understand, I feel the empathy, and I can help him same way he helps me, but it's not my own trigger, so it's a little bit easier. But it's really important that you just express yourself without fear, and not just with your twins, with anybody in your life, you know, including toxic relationships that you may have. Doesn't need to be a romantic relationship, but even friendships or at work, just for you to be able to say, no, I don't want this. And this doesn't make me feel good. Because this, as I mentioned before, comes from a lot of us having experiences of our power being taken away in the past, in the shape of abuse sometimes. And it doesn't have to be physical abuse, but it's just stealing power away from us. So, but we have a voice. We can say, no, I don't like that. I don't want to have that. But doing it without fear. Because the more you embrace who you are and the more you embrace your own personal decisions, the more you step into alignment. And for you, it's really important to understand that we are not the same. And we are not what happened to us. We are the virtues that we gain from those experiences, okay? We are not the negative side of the physical experience, because as I always say, this is a rental. We're gonna have to give it back, okay? This is just a tuxedo that we're wearing for this lifetime. So whatever happens on a physical level, it's just that. It's a human experience that we need to have in order to retrieve the virtues. So moving forward, we only take the virtues. And self-expression is something that we really, really need to make a priority in our lives. Not just with our twins, but with everybody. At work, friends, toxic relationships, whatever it is, you don't feel happy about something, you should express yourself. And actually, this brings me back to the beginning of this live session, where I was saying that I actually got a message on my inbox that it wasn't really nice. And, you know, I didn't like reading it, but I have to accept that the person was expressing herself. So, and I'm glad that she did, because I think that's powerful, even though I didn't like reading it. So it's a matter of you expressing yourself, regardless of the other person being able to embrace what you're saying or not. Yeah, so we had that episode on Saturday, and then Sunday was my trigger day. You know, we decided to take shifts, thank God, because otherwise would be too messy. I just wanted to check what Janet was saying. Figuring out what language of love you speak, and while in a connection can help immensely. Yeah, Janet, absolutely. The love languages are really important, and I actually wrote about that a while back. And not just with the twins. For me, even even with my kids, the love languages help me, because they all have different love languages. One is quality time and physical touch, and the other one is, you know, they both have different. Works for everybody. For to deal with your family, with friends, with co-workers, love languages can be applied in any situation. And it's a book that I recommend to all of you. It's called The 5 Love Languages. I don't remember the name of the person who wrote it, but I can put it on the comments later. Okay, Janet, we'll catch up soon. Love. Okay, so we then on Sunday was actually my trigger day. And by now we can make a now we can joke about it, and we actually said that we should all have first and second waves. I've been reading about. Okay, I'll get into that. Yes. So what? Now we can laugh about it, but at some point we said we should get a buzzer, a trigger buzzer, with one of those loud sounds that go like, you know, trigger alert. Because you get to a point where everything that people say and everything that happens during the day ends up being a trigger. Why? Because you're saying that angry energy kind of building up the whole day, and then one slight thing that happens that it's uncomfortable, you just flip the switch, basically. And so I had my flip the switch moment on Sunday as well. And so for me, it was actually funny to see that we react very differently to triggers, because Mike went to a very angry energy, and he was angry. He was about the lemon especially. God help me. But he was very angry about it, and the energy was very, you know, very upset. Very, he was very pissed about the lemons and the CD as well. As for me, I had to retrieve. For me, was feeling very sad, very hurt, and I couldn't express myself. The only thing I could do was cry. So it goes well with what I was saying about the divine feminine, is being in this position of, we have a voice now, so we can say when something is not comfortable for us, when something is hurting us, causing us pain, whatever it is. And so for me, it took me a long time to calm myself down and to be able to sit down with Mike and say, you know, what you said was not okay. I didn't like it. Not because he said it, not because it was something that he did on purpose to hurt me, but because it's my own trigger. Obviously, it's not his, so it doesn't resonate with him. So there's no distortion in that sense. But if this would happen in a twin flame connection, would be, I would say, a lot worse than the Lemon Gate, you know. Probably. But it's a matter of really staying within your feminine energy, but being able to say no. I don't like this. It's not okay. And it's very, very important for all of you, the masculines as well. But I really wanted to express this very strongly to all the feminines, because what we're going through at the moment, it's really, it's being presented to you as another chance to say no and to get your voice back and to really get your power back, and stating who you are and what you want and what you are here to do and what you bring into this world. So it's really, really important that during this wave of heavy energy that we have going on at the moment, that you really express yourself in the best way possible, and that you don't retrieve into a fearful energy where you feel threatened, where you feel scared. It's really important for you to let go of that energy by expressing yourself. So that's what I really wanted to bring you. I will be talking about the why the energy is so heavy at the moment as well. But I wanted to let Mike just talk a little bit about what's going on with the divine masculines, because we've been noticing that it's really heavy energies for them as well, even though they don't come out and talk so much and express themselves so much. But we've been noticing that there's a lot of divine masculines also reaching out and going through a very hard stage at the moment. Yeah,
for sure. Just another point I'm going to touch on quick. What's this young woman's name? Sorry.
Oh, Sienna.
Sienna. Sorry. Sienna made a very good point, actually. She posted a comment. I'll just scroll back up. It says, taking personal responsibility for your emotions before communicating.
Absolutely.
And it's really funny that you've posted that comment, Sienna, because I've actually been writing about that recently. And the importance of, in fact, all of us taking personal responsibility for our own emotions, because through doing that, what you actually do is it helps you to identify the fact that you are being triggered, because this has happened with me, and I imagine it's happened with many of you as well. You get triggered by something, and then what you do is you project all of your energy towards the situation or the thing that has triggered you, and by doing that, you pass the blame almost and give away your power to that situation, as opposed to realizing that although it may be the situation or the thing that has caused you to be triggered, the emotion that is being triggered comes from within you. It doesn't come from the situation, you know? Yeah. It's not the lemon that's pissed off, okay? It's me.
Thankfully.
Thankfully. It doesn't come from the situation itself. The situation is simply the cause to disrupt that emotion within me.
Exactly. This emotion belongs to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And through doing that, again, I can identify the fact that you are being triggered, and then in that sense, it's easier to work through it rather than allowing circumstances, an event, a person, or something has happened to consume you, or allowing the emotion within you that's being triggered to consume you, because you identify the fact that you are being triggered, and you can look at, okay, why am I being triggered? What is it that's coming up in me? It's not actually the situation itself. It's for this purpose. Like I did with Anna, like I said, it felt like I'd had my power taken away. So it wasn't actually, oh my goodness, she's gone and bought lemons from another stand. Like, I mean, come on guys, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was. But it was actually the feeling, being able to identify, through identifying the emotion within me, then being able to identify why that emotion had come up. So yeah, that was a very good point, and I saw it earlier, and I just wanted to touch on it. But yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about the divine masculine and what a lot of them and you as masculines are maybe experiencing at the moment, and have been experiencing. Obviously, we're all at different stages on our journeys, and you know, like I've said previously, there's not a date set in stone where a button's pressed and we all go through the same thing at the same time. But as a collective, many of the DMs are going through much of what I went through throughout summer in my dark night of the soul, and also many of the emotions that I was feeling prior to coming here and staying with Anna. Now, thankfully, through being here with Anna, because we've been busy doing other stuff and having a good time as well, it has very much helped to pull me out of some of those emotions and take my attention away from it. But prior to coming over to Holland, and you know, it has got better for me, but let's go back into summer when I was in a really bad place or bad space in my dark night. Some of the things I experienced and what a lot of you guys are experiencing at the moment. So I've written down here a few things. The first thing was, I had this complete sense and feeling of hopelessness and this deep-seated sadness within me, like everything was being stripped away, and like I was left with nothing almost. And again, to put that another way, it was this feeling of abandonment and this real deep feeling of loneliness. Just very, very lonely. And this is a feeling that's actually going on in here, because in reality, in my external environment, and I know this to be the same for many masculines as well, you're not alone. You have people around you, you have family, children, your jobs, work colleagues, things that you're doing, but this is an internal process. And that feeling of being so lonely and almost like abandoned by not just people but everything in general through this stripping away, or this feeling of things being stripped away from me, left me with this feeling of hopelessness and sadness. And what actually happens is it kind of spirals, so it gets worse for a lot of you and for me before it gets better, in that you get stuck in those emotions, and feeling lonely and sad and depressed is just, it's not a good place to be in. It's really, really awful to experience that to the depth that I did, and to the depth that I know that many of you have and are experiencing. And what actually happens is, the feeling of loneliness is internal, and I kind of found myself reaching into my external as for distractions. So for example, I started smoking cigarettes again. Now, why would I do that? Quit smoking ages ago. No interest in smoking cigarettes, but I found myself starting to delve into some of the bad habits that I used to indulge in, to distract me from the way I was feeling. And I get the sense that this is quite a common theme not just amongst twin flames, but among the male collective, that they will find themselves indulging in certain habits that they know are not for their highest good and don't serve their highest purpose, such as drink, drugs, cigarettes, just addictive behavioral patterns that act as distractions and actually take your focus away from the way you're feeling. But all it actually does through doing that is, in a sense, it makes it worse, because all it does is mask what's going on inside of you internally, as opposed to you facing those emotions and finding ways in which you can release those emotions and deal with that part of the process.
Yeah. But when and sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
But it's when you see those patterns of people going through addictions,
Mm-hmm.
And I've noticed with some of the feminines as well. But what you're really looking for is a state of numbness, right? You want to be numb.
Yeah, basically you want to numb yourself to those emotions.
Yeah.
But you know, the other thing I realized that through doing that is that many of those addictive things that I chose to indulge in are in fact depressants themselves. So what it does is it's like putting your thumb over what's going on just to like cover it up, kind of thing. But then what you're doing is suppressing it even more. So you're actually taking more of a step down as opposed to up and out of the situation. And I know how hard it is to deal with. And I found myself becoming through that feeling of loneliness, becoming very closed off, not wanting to speak to people. Had a lot of people messaging me. Yeah, Kathy's put here, I can relate to that completely. Sugar addiction is the worst. That as well for myself and for many people. Again, it's another distraction. I
am very distracted in that way.
With sugar, yeah, absolutely. Me too. Yeah. And you know, and so that is quite a common pattern that people turn to those things as distractions from the way they're feeling. But as I was saying, through that feeling of being lonely, I sort of started to detach from everything else in my external reality, and just sort of dragging myself through my responsibilities, as opposed to facing such emotions and asking myself, okay, I'm feeling this way. Yes, this is a process I have to go through. What can I do to help release or relieve some of those emotions? You know, as opposed to allowing them to consume me and sort of it spiraling out of control, because I really spiraled so low to a point where I didn't want to be here anymore. And I understand that many of you as masculines are going through this, are going to be feeling that way too, that like
soul removal.
Yeah, you literally feel like you've had the life energy sucked out of you, like you feel empty, like you've got things going on in your external world, in your reality, work, responsibilities, etc., but on the inside you feel like you've had your soul taken out almost. And it is like the complete stripping away of all of those negative emotions and that crap within you that needs to come out. But it also highlighted the importance of actually, and sometimes you almost have to force yourself to do it. And you know, I don't want to contradict myself here, because I don't necessarily think it's a good thing to force yourself to do things that you're not in the mood to do, because it just adds pressure to yourself. But it can be very important to speak to people and reach out to other people, you know, and there are other people there to support you, and other twins, etc., just to chat about how you're feeling and what you're going through, because I shut myself off, and in a sense it made it worse, and I became very stuck, very lonely, very sad, a feeling of total loss and depression, and then thinking like, I've been left at the bottom of the gutter, how do I get out? So
but I actually connected some of the twins in my group. I did some energy match I know I still have some to do. I'm sorry. I've been taking some time off. But when I did the energy matches between the twins in my group, was exactly to find actually what I have with Mike. We have the same energy, but we don't have the same triggers. And it was funny to see how you guys actually started to connect. And one of the things, funny enough, when we connected back in July, one of the funny things that we used to do would be to find the name of the emotion that you're feeling and just saying it. You know, I'm anxious, I'm nervous, I'm angry, whatever it is. I'm disappointed, I'm sad, I'm excited, whatever it is. But just to have someone that will receive your message without judgment, someone who will understand your journey. And you can make that pact with someone, even if I haven't paired you up with someone yet. You can always do that exercise. We used to do it. I'm pissed off today, and you don't even have to justify why you are. It's just a matter of you learning how to express yourself and embrace your own emotions. May they be positive or not, but it's just a way of expressing. But you touched a point that I wanted to ask you, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure we talked about this already.
No, fine.
But do you feel like those addictions at that stage that I'm gonna have to ask from the masculine, because I have the perspective from the feminine because I've been there. But do you think it's necessary to like really hit rock bottom? Do you necessarily need to really find yourself sitting down with the destruction of everything around you so you can kind of like rise again?
Yes and no.
But you did find yourself sitting with...
Yeah, because I found myself at the bottom of the pit, looking around at my situation like, damn, I can't go any further. Down, that is. Can't go any further down.
Yeah.
And for me, that was the feeling of not physically wanting to be here anymore. And just like, one word, Scorpio. It's so true. Physically not wanting to be here and just throwing in the towel, and like to quite happily at that point have been like, if I'm gonna die, you guys want to take me, like I'm cool with that right now. But I actually had to reach that point in order to start stepping back up the ladder. So for many of you as masculines that are going through this, I know it sucks. It really does at times. And as I said, there are things that you can do, for example, reaching out to one another and just discussing how you're feeling, because to have people there to support you obviously is helpful, but many of you will have to hit rock bottom before you come back up. And sadly, that is just a part of the process. You know, you have to be completely stripped away before you can come back up, come back out the other side. So yeah, I'm sorry to say it, that it is tough, but you know, what I'm saying is I still would have had to have reached that point regardless of whether I'd had Anna there to support me and to be able to chat to her and explain to her how I was feeling, because that was super helpful. Like I don't know what I would have done at times without having Anna there just to speak to about how I was feeling, but I still had to reach that point at the bottom of the pit before I could start coming back up. And that's just something that all of us have to go through in this process, but it's something particularly that the masculines are going through at the moment. So just to say, for those of you that are divine masculines or male twins, or just a male in general who's not twin flame, and you're feeling this way, you're not alone. It is happening to a lot of people, and it's happened to me myself, and thankfully now I'm coming out the other side of it. So just to say, you are not alone, and it does pass and it does get better. But you know, try not to shut yourself off from everything. Try not to close down. Don't stop doing the things that you enjoy doing. You know, those are outlets for you. Those things that you enjoy doing, for example, for me, playing guitar, or it might be dancing, singing, whatever. You know, playing a sport.
Buying lemons.
Buying lemons. Exactly. And CDs. Do those things still, because those are outlets for you to release energy that otherwise becomes stagnant like we spoke about, and trapped within you and builds up and causes you to either melt down or at some point erupt. The unawakened masculine as well. Yes, absolutely. So, you know, this actually will be the trigger for many masculines to wake up, is the dark night of the soul, or this feeling of loss and abandonment and the stripping away of the way they're feeling inside and their external realities. For a lot of them, it will just be the complete breakdown of relationships, jobs, you know, environmental circumstances where they live. You know, that is part of this process, and that is what a lot of them will be going through, and that is actually what is going to cause a lot of them to, in a sense, or will be the trigger for them to wake up.
Yeah, and to get out of the karmic cycles sometimes.
Yes,
as well.
exactly. So for a lot of them, it's going to be the breaking down and stripping away of the karmic cycles that they are still currently stuck in. Okay, so Carla says, isn't it a lot harder for the divine masculine to reach out than for the divine feminine? For
women in general, it's easier to express, But I was thinking about it. Do you actually feel that for the divine masculine, it's the struggle is a little bit harder because you are faced with your feminine side? Like when you are faced, like you're all alone and you feel sad and you feel lonely and you have to deal with your emotions. So that comes from your feminine side, right?
Yeah, and then is the struggle because you feel uncomfortable with your feminine side, having to process all the emotions and all of that? Part of it, guys, in all honesty, from my perspective, is actually almost stubbornness. In that men are like, I can do this on my own kind of thing. I don't need no help. I don't need to reach out to somebody. I'm a man. And Sienna says, men aren't taught it's as acceptable to express emotions as women are. So so this comes down to conditioning and old programming where, you know, it's not okay for men to cry and girls shouldn't climb trees, you know. Those are all parts of the old paradigm and things that we've been conditioned to believe, that are things that are being stripped away within us. So as a masculine, it's a mixture of things. It's a mixture of them finding it more difficult to express the way that they're feeling, not knowing how to go about expressing the way that they're feeling, because this has never happened to the majority of them before. This is not only a very heavy process for a lot of them to go through, it's completely new to be feeling this way. And it's also scary. A little bit comes down to it, as men have always, for a lot of them their whole lives, been like, I'm a man, I can do this on my own. I am me. And for that reason, there's a bit of stubbornness involved in that. I don't need to, almost a refusal to reach out for help with regards to the way they're feeling and what they're going through.
Yeah. What I've noticed with some of the masculines is also that they do reach out, but they don't do it until they fully understand how they feel. It's like they almost need to digest the emotions and get in touch with them before they can put it out. You know, for us females, we vomit emotions. Okay, let's be honest here. We do it. It's very natural for us. We do it with friends. We do it with family. We're very easy with that. And what I find for the masculine is that you kind of need to digest everything until you fully understand what it is. Go through the whole, try to analyze it in your logical mind, try to make sense out of it, which never does because it's emotions.
Yeah.
And then you kind of like step forward and reach out to other people.
Yeah. So part of the reason that masculines aren't reaching out is because they don't actually have an understanding yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
A full awareness and understanding of what is actually happening, and it won't be for a lot of them until they come out the other side, start to come out the other side, and a lot of this crap has been stripped away. That they will have this jump in level of awareness, consciousness of what they're actually going through, and what they'll be able to. They'll be in a space where they're able to reflect on a lot of what they've just been through, because when you're in it, it's very murky. It's like murky water, like trying to sort of, how do I put it?
Yeah, it's blurry. You can't see beyond. It's a mist.
Yeah.
You know, you can see beyond. But we as feminines also go through that. Okay. But I think that the difference is, and I was talking about this with one of you the other day. I can't remember now. But the reason why feminines bounce back from a breakup a little bit faster and easier, it's because we cry. Okay, that's it. We grab a bottle of wine and we drink until we fall on the floor, and we cry and we look at pictures, and we do the whole shenanigan. So we process all the emotions and we do the whole thing, and then we're ready. The day that we wake up and we say we're ready, and we're ready to go out and express ourselves and try again.
Mm-hmm.
What I find for the divine masculines is that you go through a stage of denial first. You go like, I'm fine, I can do this, I can still go out, be with friends, do this, and carry on putting a facade.
Yep.
So everything is fine, so you don't have to deal with the emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And you carry on until you hit the wall. That's it. Then you can't fake anymore.
Yeah. And that's sort of, for many of them, that sort of happens at the start of the process. So it's kind of like they're easing into the process of what they're going through. So they're not completely submerged by it. So it's like they sort of try to brush it off. Like,
yeah. But denial, you have a stage of denial. Yeah. Okay, there was someone here asking something. The DM situations with karmic, because I took note. Them stepping out of the karmic cycle. It's a little bit what Mike was saying just a while ago. Most of them in those cycles, and I was talking about it during my live session the other day, it's out of being stubborn, and they keep on going and going and going and going and try again and again and again. But it's yeah, it's out of being stubborn. It's out of almost having to prove that they can do it, until they have to say I can't and they give up. So and again, karmics doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. Can also be addiction, can be toxic behavior, can be aggressive behavior even. I've noticed that with some. But it really depends on which stage of their own journey. It's really delicate to say if they're all coming out of the karmic cycle at the same time. I wish they would. Not so sure it's going to happen that way. But yeah, do you have anything else from the divine masculine that you would like to? Any personal tips? We were actually talking about something the other day, which was the fact that you can reach out for help and people can give you guidance and give you support, but at the end of the day, you have to get out of it by yourself.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, there's only so much guidance you can have, but you're the one that has to take the physical steps, and you're the one that has the free will to take the physical steps to shift your energy, and perhaps do things to help you go through that process. So as an example, back before I started going through my dark night of the soul at the beginning of summer, I was speaking to Anna about this the other day. I drew some cards with regards to going away and doing some work abroad, and all the cards came back from Archangel Michael like, go, like, do it, great. And I chose not to, partly out of fear, partly out of not having complete clarity over whether it was the right decision to make or not. And what I did was I chose to stay in my current situation. So I stayed in my current job, at home where I was living still, going to the same gym and training. So nothing changed for me. I didn't shift my energy in any way. And what I actually did was I turned down an opportunity that I could have created for myself and chose to stay in the situation I was in. And as a result, I became stuck in that situation and very much sort of stagnant as that energy began to build up. So I started to go through that dark night of the soul. So we watched a video, one of Jeanette's. So Jeanette from Awakened Warrioress. We watched one of her videos the other day. Anna was showing me, and it was about the dark night of the soul. And she actually said in that video that the dark night of the soul is your soul's way of saying that you are not reaching your full potential as a spiritual being. So this process has to happen to kick your butt in the right direction, right? And it's very true, because I chose to turn down that opportunity I could have created for myself, stay stuck in the situation, or chose to be in the situation that I was in. And as a result, my dark night of the soul set in, and it set in hard. And that was my soul's way of not only stripping away the crap, but saying to me, you don't belong here, dude. You can do way better than this.
Yeah.
That opportunity there was a golden ticket you created for yourself. Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah.
But perhaps if I'd taken that opportunity, A, it would have helped to shift my energy. And second of all, I may have gone through that process still, but there is no doubt that it wouldn't have been anywhere near as bad as what I had to experience, or what I did experience, staying in the situation that I was in.
Yeah.
So advice-wise, if there is things that you can do to shift your energy, if you're presented with opportunities to go and do new things and, you know, branch out and experience new things, or to change job or move, for example, do it.
Yeah.
Do it, please. Goodness, if I, in hindsight, if I'd looked back and said, okay, if you don't take that opportunity, this is what's going to happen. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm glad I've gone through that process, because now I can reflect on it and use it to help other people. But in hindsight, if I could have looked at some of what I've been through this summer and the depth of it and how raw it got, and much of that could have been avoided through taking different steps, by choosing to branch out and not closing myself off from opportunities in my external reality, and taking a leap of faith in many ways, then yeah, I would have done it.
Yeah.
But I didn't. So
yeah, but it's funny because on the same video that we watched, Janet was also saying that that soul breaking point is also part of the ascension process, where you want your soul to be removed from the physical experience, because it's so painful, it's unbearable, you know, you just want to be removed. And that's what I said, and that's what I noticed with a lot of twins that share their stories with me. And I think we all had a moment of going down on your knees and just asking, I give up, I had enough, please let me go, remove me, get me out of here. You know, we all go through that. And she put it in a very beautiful way, and she was explaining that it's part of the ascension process. We all go through that at some point, maybe even more than one time. He has to be removed because it's physically painful. It's unbearable at times. It's exhausting. It's frustrating. So sometimes we go through that process. We have to do it without judgment, as I always say. And don't think that others don't go through the same, because we do. We all do. I just wanted to go back to reply to Linda, because she was saying, she was talking about the flow of things, feeling stuck, and not going anywhere. I was actually talking about that in one of the videos I posted, and it has to do with understanding that there are times where you need to take action, and there are times where you need to rest and recuperate. So I actually had that moment last week, because I've been I overbooked myself. I worked really hard for a few weeks, and I was completely exhausted. And if my guides wouldn't have just really said, you're going to take and you're not going to connect with a collective unless you're having sessions with your clients, I wouldn't have stopped. And I was coming really close to being completely burnout, you know, because it takes a lot of energy. And I know a lot of you that do the same work as me, you know that, because you live the experiences and you feel the pain, and you feel, you know, you carry the whole journey of all the trainings with you as well. So Linda, just to address that, it's very important that you respect whatever is being given to you at that time. It's if if you feel like things are on a standstill at the moment, you know, and you feel like the hangman, it's really for you to take, I always give this example to all my clients, because it's really when you feel like the hangman, it's really giving you the opportunity to see things from a different perspective. And it's funny because in one of my decks, the hangman is meditating. So it's really that time that you are hanging upside down. It's really for you to take time to go within and to look at things from a different perspective, so you can gain the strength to move forward. And I posted something about that as well the other day, as being the arrow effect, you know, that you need to pull back the arrow before it gets set into motion. So it really take those standstill moments to nurture yourself and allow things to come in divine timing. Because sometimes, and you may experience that, when we try to force things the way we want them, because we want them now, because we want them yesterday, and then things go tits up. Sorry, my French, but it's because we force things to happen the way we want them to happen, and then we regret sometimes. And the more we allow and come into a place of trust and just letting things happen the way they're supposed to happen, then it gets easier. There's no resistance, you know. Let me see. This is kind of stuck. Yes, you want them now, Linda. Absolutely, absolutely. Well, while I don't see any more questions, I just wanted to address why the energies are so crazy at the moment. And I got a lot of messages saying, what the hell is going on? I'm going nuts, I'm all triggered, you know. And so I wanted to explain what was going on, because it happened to me as well during the weekend, happened to Mike as well. And so yesterday, I got a download from my guides, and I was really trying to understand what is going on for the whole collective. And so, as we've been warned that a lot of upgrades are coming at the moment, and we all talk about upgrades as in being something that, oh, happened to me. You know, I got an upgrade. I feel awesome. I actually had a major upgrade a couple of weeks ago, because I started working with someone, with Wayne, that really, really helped me in my dream state. And that was, I can honestly say, was the most intense, dramatic upgrade I've ever had in my journey. And so I took it for granted that it was a normal upgrade and I could just carry on doing my my daily thing. And what my guides were really showing me yesterday is that the process of integrating an upgrade is a bit more complex than just taking it in and, you know, carrying on doing your normal daily things. And so they were really explaining that the first stage of the upgrade is really you receiving new spiritual technology, and it comes in different feelings. They were mentioning some of them being downloads, having cold feelings, having tingling sensations, having a lot of weird dreams, insights, even feeling like you're finally communicating with your guides, or even communicating with loved ones, whatever it is, the part that you start. And so after that stage of the upgrade, of you receiving the spiritual technology, for the lack of a better word, because I still need to write an article on it, I'm going to say that you have the intergrade, or the inner grade, okay? And so that is actually the integration of the spiritual technology into your human body, okay? And that's exactly the stage where we're all at the moment. It's the most uncomfortable, because you get a lot of triggers, okay? And so what they were explaining is that there's a lot of discomfort, there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of something that we actually experienced during the weekend, panic attacks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And why is that? Because you're receiving new energies in your body, and it's everything that is new. It's scary. it brings up nervous energy. It brings anxiety. And so as we were talking, I was actually saying, oh, I think I'm having a mini panic attack, you know, which many years ago when I had them, I would be really panicking. And these days we just go like, oh, what is this feeling? It's a mini panic attack. And so it's just a matter of you understanding that everything that you're going through, and I really wanted to mention all the symptoms that they were discussing, so you kind of understand that what's happening to you, it's normal, and you can relate with some of them or not. So it's the discomfort, the triggers happening very frequently. But again, it has to do a lot, at this point, the triggers have to do with self-expression, very much. With the ability for you to say, no, I don't like this, I don't want this in my life, this doesn't resonate with me, and being able to walk away from situations that no longer serve you. So that's really important now. The anxiety I mentioned, I mean, it's all the good stuff, honestly. Panic attacks, yes. Angry energy, very angry energy, even aggressive, violent energy. And so again, my advice is always to go find an outlet for that energy. Go punch a bag, go scream at the pillow, find an outlet, find a physical outlet for that energy to come out. Restless nights and irregular sleeping patterns. So you may find that you are sleeping less, that you are sleeping, that you're waking up every 3 hours, waking up every 4 hours, getting a lot of crazy dreams during the night that just, some of them don't make sense, some of them bring very important messages. So it would be nice now for you to have a dream journal and keep track as much as possible. So yeah, that's the second stage that we are finding ourselves at the moment. So going through the integration of the upgrade, if I can call it that. I will try to find better terms when I write my article. At the moment, I can't find the language to explain it. And then the third stage of it will be the overgrade of the whole thing. So the overgrade will be the full integration of the upgrade into your physical body. And so in that stage, you start to get into a soft energy. And some of you, I believe some of you already are feeling that, hopefully. But it comes in the shape of having a lot of epiphanies, having a lot of realizations, clicking the pieces together. Everything starts to make sense, but in a very quiet and very soft energy, because the disruption of having to integrate the new spiritual technology is already past. They really wanted me to mention this. A big part of this upgrade will be a emotional awareness, very, very developed emotional awareness. And I actually think we noticed that over the weekend, that it came not just for you to understand your own emotions, but what I noticed was emotional awareness towards what other people feel. You know, having the empathy of understanding where they come from, mm-hmm. without you having to react on it.
Yeah.
You know, and I actually felt that was something that I felt it with me, at least, the emotional awareness. Obviously, higher consciousness, but a very soft energy. So I just wanted to bring hope to all of you if you are going to the sucky feeling of having the integrate moments of letting it integrate into your physical body. The visual that they gave me was, imagine filling up an empty bottle with a very gooey liquid. Okay, so that's how the upgrade comes into your body. So as soon as you start putting the gooey liquid inside the bottle, there's discomfort. Okay, there's a little bit of distortion with the liquid inside the bottles. Gets a little bit of bubbles, and and it's kind of like unstable until you get the whole bottle full. So that was the visual. This bubbly stage that you're feeling in shape of triggers and very angry energy is it's temporary, okay? And it's the more you stay within a calm energy, the more you meditate, connect with spirit, and do things that really feed your soul, the faster the bottle gets full, and the faster you can go into a soft energy. But it's really for you to embrace what's happening as a normal process of integrating all the good stuff that we're getting, as a gift, as a blessing. So yeah, let me check what twin flame journey truly about the physical union, or is it about?
I'd quite like to answer that.
Go for it then, Julianne.
Yeah, so Julianne says, is the twin flame journey truly about physical union, or is it about our soul growth? Everything I have been feeling is telling me that union or non-union is only a part of this process. Thank you both for hosting this discussion today. Firstly, you're welcome. With regards to your question, in all honesty, no, this journey is not about physical union with your twin. That is something that will happen for many twins, but this journey is about your soul growth, your evolution, and for us to raise the vibration of the planet, so the vibration of the collective, to a place of unconditional love through raising our own vibration to reaching that state of being. So that comes about through the stripping away of all of that which doesn't serve us. So for example, through going through the dark night of the soul, that is a way of your soul pushing you towards your soul's potential through stripping away all the gunk and the rubbish. But with regards to physical union, that actually will come about for many twins, but only after you have detached from the outcome and the expectation of coming into physical union with your twin. So it's a bit of a balancing act, because we all have free will as twin flames, and for many of you obviously have the free will if you and your twin both decide if you're in communication, and you both have the free will to choose to be with one another, of course. But for those of you that are in separation and you're going through your own process, that is to say your own soul growth, it is not until you have detached from the expectation and the desire to be with your twin physically that you create the space for that to manifest in the physical. So through detaching, you actually create the space within you to allow the universe to work through you as a spiritual being to bring that to fruition. Physical union, as I said, we have free will, but for a lot of us, it really isn't within our control. It is down to our teams, our guides, our angels, our universe to arrange the details of reunion, if it is both twins' desire rather to come into physical union with their counterpart. Primary task, or what should be your primary focus, is yourself, so your own soul growth, and to shed as much ego as you can as an individual, and step into that place of unconditional love, because that is how it is, being in that space of unconditional love where your union with your twin flame, your reunion, the physical reunion with your twin, is really able to work in a sense. Or, for many twins that choose through free will to be with one another, there's a lot of difficulty in those unions, and a lot of sort of acceptance rather than expectation.
Absolutely, Mark.
Exactly, because between a lot of those twins that have chosen to be with one another through free will, there's a lot of crap that goes on between them, because they're still going through this process of shedding their ego, getting rid of all those emotions that don't serve them anymore. And it's not until, and many of us, we go through that process on our own, that we are ready for that physical reunion to come about in our reality. So no, essentially the journey is not just about your physical union with your twin. It is really about focusing on yourself and your own development, your own growth, through being of service to others, and to to help raise the vibration of the collective.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. And there's actually I don't know, I watched a video from someone a while back. I don't know if it was Janet. I think it was Janet, because I absolutely devour all her videos. But I think it was her, and she was explaining, can you imagine how much coordination it takes to bring two twins together, okay? So you have one soul divided in two. They're sent off, they're like, good luck, guys, go look for yourself, go look for each other. And as much as you say, like, I am ready for my union, I actually ask this to my clients. I go, like, if I was to say your twin is coming back today, would you say that you're ready for union? And all of them say no, okay? So let's be honest here. There's a lot of work to be done. There's still a lot of growth to be had. And what I always try to show you is that this is the fun part of it. Separation is the fun part. It's when you get to know yourself, find your mission, connect with other people, get involved in projects and charity, volunteer. I mean, there's so many possibilities of growth that this shouldn't be a sad moment for all of you. This should be the fun moment. This is the bachelor party. Like I said the other day, it's the hands night. Go out and have fun before you get married. It's really to enjoy yourself. But she was explaining how hard it is to coordinate, the same soul divided in two physical bodies, living sometimes in different parts of the planet. Both of them with free will. I mean, here's to hoping. Good luck. But it's really complicated, because as much as you say that I am ready for my own union, you have to respect that the other person also has free will. And they may decide to do something else. So it's really complicated to get into a space where both twins come into a space of growth and harmony. Obviously, the union is not going to happen if that will bring destruction and distortion into your life, okay? Because we are the awakened ones. We did a lot of work. We went through all the process of dark night of the soul, growing, evolving, connecting with people. We've been through a lot, and we're sitting here today and we can laugh about it. But geez, it wasn't easy for no one. And it's really to understand that it will come if it's for your highest purpose. But the space and the platform that you have at the moment in this space and time, it's really, everything is being aligned for your highest purpose. And so if your twin is not coming back, it's because there's still work to be done in other areas. And it's really to embrace that and to have fun. It's really, I say this so many times, have fun during separation. Separation shouldn't be a sad moment, we should be able to embrace who we are now and look back and think, I don't even recognize myself, God, I don't even recognize myself from last week, let alone the beginning of the journey. But it's really, separation should be a time of exploring yourself, exploring your abilities, soul growth, soul development, connecting with other people, expressing unconditional love towards everybody. So, yeah, that's my opinion on reunions. Let's see. Separation is actually a blessing. Yes, Jennifer. Once you find yourself in a place of growth, I think so too. I think so too. Yeah, Kiara. Yeah, doing the inner work. It's important. Can one twin choose not to have physical union when the other does choose physical union? How does that fit when mirroring? Well, Karina, it's a matter of free will. It's a matter of free will. Do I know of twins who decided not to be together, or at least that one twin made a decision to not be together? Yeah, I do. I do, but it was a very destructive relationship. It was very toxic. Was extremely abusive, and so one of the twins asked to be removed from it. And to be quite honest, she's happy living her life. she's a lot more spiritually developed than me, and she made a conscious decision not to want her physical union to happen, because it wasn't for her highest purpose. And so in that sense, when one of them chooses not to have it, then it doesn't happen unless the energies get into alignment again, I guess. But the physical union will never happen unless there's enough balance between the energies. And I always explain this as being you and a twin being in a car race track, you know. So you have two cars driving. You're here, your twin is here. So there's no way, if one of you is ahead of the other, there's no way you can jump into their car. You know, you're going to fall flat. So it's a little bit like that. Energies need to be aligned enough for you to be able to jump into their car, or them jumping into yours. So no, it doesn't really happen unless there's enough harmony within the energies, and if it is for your highest purpose and not to get into another destructive cycle. The reunion cycle is very different from the union cycle, okay? The union, the initial union, is usually the destructive cycle, you know, where all the junk needs to come out. And then you are literally separated so you can do the healing. And so when you come into final reunion, it's already because the energies are aligned enough.
Mm-hmm. And just off the back of that, what would be good for a lot of you to understand is that on a soul level, before we incarnate, those of us that have incarnated together as twin flames into this reality all came in with the intention of coming together in the physical with our counterparts. And this is why I said about your primary focus is to strip or shed as much ego as possible, because through doing that, you step into alignment with your soul. So you are stepping into who you truly are as a spiritual being. And the more ego you can shed, which is the distortion that masks who you are on a soul level, and who you came here to be and what you came here to do, or say, not sorry to say who you came here to be, who you truly are, and what you came here to do. It's not until you go through that process and reach that point that physical union is able to manifest in reality. Yeah,
I agree. Ooh, there's one here. I so want to address this one, the Cinderella complex. I love it. Yeah, Sophia, she's asking because one of the biggest challenges for the Divine Feminine is the Cinderella complex. And I actually talked about that in another live session that I had before. And I was trying to explain because, you know, I get a lot of twins, you know, with a romantic fantasy of their twins coming back, and, you know, the whole romantic big gesture of them coming back, and you know, almost with roses and the diamond ring and all of that. And they will like trigger alert.
Sorry.
No, but it's let's not go back to Lemongate, please.
I'll try not to.
No, but it's really funny to see that we all grow up with that fantasy, you know, that we're going to be swept off our feet and everything is going to be you know, diamonds and roses. And I was explaining on the other live session that I'm so sorry to break the fairy tale, but it's not going to happen like that. Reunions are not going to happen like that. I am happy if some of them happen like that, and I'm really hoping they do. But there's a lot of blending of energy and a lot of getting to know each other again before that happens.
Yeah, that Cinderella complex, it's the first time I've heard of it, but the roses and the being swept off your feet will come actually after the initial reunion. The romantic side of things between you and your twin really will come after you have blended energies, and the initial phase of reunion is initiated, and you go through that, and you really sort of start to get to know one another again properly. Then it creates a space for the romantic side of things to truly blossom between the two of you, as opposed to that being the trigger.
Yeah, that would make sense.
For reunion.
Yeah, but just to finish with Sophia, she's asking something again, and this one is for you, Micah.
Okay.
Because it's about masculines, but about the Cinderella complex. What I was explaining in the other live session was that I was telling to one of my clients. I said she's very princess-like, and she's very romantic. She's so sweet, and she has this fairy tale in her head how things are gonna happen. And I was telling her, listen, you can, in a few years, you can sit down with your friends and you can say, oh, I met this guy, love at first sight, and we never had a fight. He proposed, we got engaged, got married, had kids, the whole shebang. You can do that. Or in a few years, you can sit down with your friends and say, I met this guy. We went through hell together, and then we went through hell and separation. And then we went through hell to get back together again. But we decided to stay together, and we choose each other every single day, no matter what. And we know it's not easy, and we know there are triggers, healing, stuff to do, but we take the decision every single day to stay together and to fight for it. I mean, if that's not the fairy tale you want to tell your friends, I would rather have that fairy tale, because I actually think love is a choice that you have to make every day, even on the days that you're struggling to like the person, let alone love them, So it's a choice that you take every day. And it's your own fairy tale. So, I think it's beautiful that people fight for love, that people fight to stay together and to maintain the relationship going. I think it's a lot more beautiful than to say that everything was a piece of cake. No relationship that lasts for a long time was a piece of cake, So, and that's what makes it beautiful and valuable and precious, the fact that you keep on fighting for it every day. So all the Cinderellas out there, go buy your own shoes and, join the modern Cinderella complex, because I think it's a lot more beautiful. Mike, do you want to take this one? It's about the...
Yeah, so Sophia's asked another question. So for the masculine, would it be the commitment phobia as the main challenge? Trigger alert.
I'm so gonna get it. I'm gonna get a trigger buzzer. I need to.
It's a good question. In all honesty, I'm going to give you two sides to this. From my perspective, even as the masculine, I'm in the same position as many of the feminines, in that we went into separation, but my twin's the one's gone back to deal with her karmic cycle, which she hasn't cleared up properly, and I'm the one that's gone through this process first. So if you want to put the label on it, I don't like it, but I would be the chaser and she would be the runner. So she's actually in a position of what a lot of the masculines are going through now. With regards to commitment phobia, I believe you only have that phobia when you are not ready for your reunion with your twin. Because I've had times where I think about being with my twin physically again, and I still have fear that comes up within me. And that is fear that needs to be cleared in order for that phobia of the commitment side of things, of actually being with my twin physically, to dissolve. Now, from another perspective, my angels like to communicate to me through music. They have a habit of turning on songs in my car, just switching my radio on in my car when I'm driving along. I'll be thinking about my twin and they decide to turn the radio on and pop on the song. Anyway, they do it all the time. And before I came to Holland, there was some song playing that they turned on in my car, and the lyrics actually basically was saying, like, I need to be sure, like, that this is it, like, you are the one. So I know that that was actually my twin's higher self, basically, or either my angels or my twin's higher self explaining what my twin is actually going through. So it is sort of that having complete clarity on the situation, and understanding and knowing of who your counterpart is, in order to be able to make that decision, to take those steps to want to be with your twin. So part of the phobia for many people actually comes from, you know, not being certain, like, is this actually the one, kind of thing. So yes, I'd say not so much. Well, yeah, it is a little bit of phobia with regards to commitment issues, but that is to do with having a completely clear perspective on the dynamic and understanding of who this person is to you, making the conscious decision of whether you want to be with them. And again, from my perspective, you know, clearing out that fear, because it's not until you really clear out that fear and those fears of the commitment that you're actually truly ready for your reunion to happen.
Yeah, but it's also trust, right? I don't think it's just a commitment. Yeah. It's the fact that you need to trust someone.
Wow, yeah.
And get into that vulnerable space again of trusting someone, and you don't know if you're gonna get hurt again, you know, and then.
Yeah, so the fear, the phobia is not just around the commitment. It's about completely opening up to another person, completely being your true self around another person, and letting down all your defenses and your guards.
I'm just checking here at the question from Elizabeth. Hi, Liz, by the way. I've been out of touch, but we need to catch up. Yes, so, and this is actually happening to a few divine feminines, not just you, Liz, but there's a few divine feminines getting a lot of attention from males, huh? Why does it happen, right? I was actually talking with someone the other day, and we were talking about dating as well. But it's the way I see it and the way it was explained to me is that during the stage of separation, people are brought into your life to teach you something, okay? And not just to teach you, but also it's something that you give back to them as well. But some of them come in a stage where you actually need support, emotional support, where you need to trust again, or to keep, even just to keep your heart space open, you know, or just to keep your energy alive, you know, so you don't get closed off for love. To teach you affection, to teach you trust, you know, so many things. And so I always say, yeah, go out, date, have fun, you know, don't lock yourself in the house, you're not a nun. I say this so many times, God, I might as well just make t-shirts. But it's okay. You can create your own boundaries. You don't need to let them, you know, put the hand in the cookie jar, but just have fun and establish your own boundaries, your own standards, and, you know, and have fun, because everybody that comes into your life now, in this stage of your journey, it is for your highest purpose. It is to help you with something. It is to help you heal and to train you for your own reunion. So embrace it. Just take it as the experience that you need to take. Eve, have you seen many twin flames with a big age difference in each direction? Yes. Yes, I have. There's a few cases like that. I haven't dealt with many that have like a big age gap, but I know of some. How do we break the fairy tale to RDM? When we so want to marry and all the romance stuff, it's so possessive like. Anastasia, I'll give you the answer for that. It's it's hard because yeah, it is about possession. You know, when you get into the fairy tale complex, it is about possession. You know, but here's the thing. I don't mean it's not going to happen. What I'm saying is remove the expectation out of the equation, okay? Because that will allow space for things to develop the way they have to develop. And the thing about it's very hard for us because sometimes we go like, am I being 3D now? Because I was being so 5D last week. You know, I'm falling into the trap of being 3D again. And obviously, possession is very 3D, okay? But we are having a human experience. And we all want to have, you know, when I got married many years ago, I thought that it wouldn't change the way I felt, but it did. You know, the fact that you say my husband, you know, and that you have like almost your quality stamp on it, it makes a difference. So we all want to feel like we belong to someone and someone belongs to us, obviously. But there's a healthy way of doing it. There's a healthy way of doing possession, you know, where there's no stopping the other person from being who they are because of that possession. That's what I want to say. So I do think that the fairy tale happens in a way, but not in a possessive way, you know, in a way where you both can grow separately, but always stay together. That's what I want to say. Yes, Sasha is saying that she's actually 20 years older. How do I tell him that? It doesn't understand. Anastasia, my love, I think you will. I think you will one day. And if he doesn't, you know, give me a call and I'll go there with you. That's the only thing I can say. I'll bring some lemons and some seeds. And we'll take care of it. Ashley. Do you have any tools to help let go, remove the expectation out of the equation? I feel to some extent it's like, don't think about an elephant, don't think about the elephant. Thinking about elephants. How to remove the expectation? Well, here's what it is. Sometimes it's just finding something else to do in the waiting time. You know, it's a little bit like you imagine if you're cooking something or you're waiting for water to boil to make your tea. If you stand by the boiler the whole time that the water is heating, you're gonna get very upset and very frustrated because it's just like waiting and waiting and waiting, and it never happens. Okay, if you put the boiler on and just go and do something else, time flies by, and you know, you find yourself like, oh, it's warm, you know. So I think that removing the expectation and to make it easier to move past the discomfort of having to wait and going up and down, it's really for you to get busy with other things, you know. And I wrote about the summer holiday. It's a little bit like that concept. It's not that you can't think about the elephant. You will always think about the elephant, you know, actually. The elephant is there. It's too big. It can't be, you can't hide him behind the curtains anymore. So it's really just, you know, the elephant is there, but get busy with other things. And it's okay to think about the elephant, you know, let's call him that for now. But it's really to understand that you need to come to a place of knowing, you feel, you sense that it will happen. And so you just relax, get into a place of relaxing, you know it's coming. Get busy with other things, but we're definitely gonna have a private talk, Ashley, about mission and about, sorry, I got distracted with something here because Elizabeth, she's so funny because she calls her DM the divine Muppet rather than the divine masculine. And we made it a joke at the group that it's the divine Muppet. Completely unawakened. Liz, I don't think there are a lot of divine Muppets completely unawakened now.
No. You know, the only thing I can say to that is that your counterpart's going through his own process, and it's inevitable that he's going to wake up. It's like all the other twins, is what we came here to, you know, once the process starts, once you and your twin activate one another, well, for a lot of twins, the majority of twins in the collective, there's no going back. That process gets triggered. That's it. So, you know, in time, I know we hate hearing, you know, have patience on this journey, but he's going to wake up.
And so, but that initial stage is then when you feel the discomfort and you get into denial, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, like I said, that's kind of the initial stage at the start of the dark night of the soul for a lot of DMs, where it just starts to happen slowly and they're like, yeah, whatever, like trying to brush it aside kind of thing. Like, and it's not until that process develops and you get really deep into it.
Yeah.
So
Leah was saying something funny, but it is when you don't expect an outcome, very often it happens even better than what you thought it would be, you know. Like even when you go somewhere and you're not expecting anything, like, oh, it will be just a quiet night,
and it will be a surprise, you know. It's meant to be that way. And it's like, as Leah said there, it's like I said earlier, that through detaching from the outcome of physical union and the expectation, you create that space within you for the universe to work through you in unexpected ways, because you put limitations on it by putting your own, you know, story in place, as Leah said, play by play. So by having a desired outcome or play by play of, you know, how it's going to happen, where it's going to happen, you know, at what time, date, etc., you are putting restrictions on how the universe wants to provide you with that gift. So it is through the detaching and releasing the expectation that they go, you got a way better idea than what you had. Like, okay, you had this planned out, wait for this. Like,
yeah.
So
how do you handle telepathy from your twin? Woo! Certainly when it's intense, damn intense. I used to, I'm on a different stage of my twin flame journey at the moment. But what I used to do was really to reserve some time during the day so you can sit down and address those messages. But don't make it like a big chunk of your day, or don't, I used to put limitations on my twin's higher self. And sometimes he would come in and I would be like, no, not now, I'm busy. So it's really for you to set your own boundaries and your own limits, so it doesn't turn to be overwhelming to you, because sometimes it might. And it kind of messes up your own energy and gets you out of alignment. So from my personal experience and my own personal advice, I would say create a routine of giving him enough time and attention to give all the messages that he wants to give, and for you to pass on the messages that you want as well. And then go back to your own energy and stay within your own energy, which is really important. Day by day, yes. And it's funny because we were actually talking about, I'm going to say a word that Mike hates, we're talking about timelines.
Trigger.
We were discussing timelines. I'm very passionate about timelines lately, and I was explaining to Mike, and this has to do with outcomes as well, and expectations and all of that. That your life is basically a series of time frames. Okay, so because we're constantly moving, you don't see the different time frames. Okay, you see everything like you go to the movies. You know, you only see the sequence of time frames that create movement. Okay, but there are different time frames, and that's where your free will and your decisions and your choices come into play. So what I always tell people is, at least lately, about timelines, is that you have the ability to jump timelines every time you make a healthy decision of staying within your energy and making a healthy choice. Okay, so if you can imagine a line of time frames where you, on the first time frame, you are walking outside and someone bumps into you and calls you a name. In that specific time frame, you have the decision to reply back and get into a mood where your next time frame is going to be bad, the next time frame is going to be bad, and the next time frame is going to be bad as well. You have that choice to make that decision, or you can just simply ignore it, stay within your energy, and continue, having happy time frames. And with the thing about the expectation is that when you live in the expectation of an outcome, you're not living in the present moment. Okay, and the danger of not being present, or the cost you pay for not being present, is that you're not enjoying life to the fullest, because you're always trapped into something that you're expecting to happen, and you are letting life pass you by, basically. It's the same thing as I don't know, going on a road trip on the countryside and staring down at your phone, or it's you really not enjoying everything that it's coming into your life, because you're just so focused on something else that it's supposed to happen, or it's going to happen, or you miss so much in between. And so you always have the decision, you always have the free will and the power to decide to stay within a happy time frame. And I was talking with a client of mine the other day, and I was explaining to her that happiness, well, as love, it's a choice. It's a choice you make every day. And so the only thing you need to do when you wake up in the morning is, and that's what I do with my own guides, is today my purpose. I used to ask, what is my purpose today? And they would say something. And nowadays I wake up and I say, my purpose today is to be happy and to live life to my highest purpose, and that's the only thing you need to focus every day. It's not your twin, it's not your reunion, it's not how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen. Be present in the moment, be mindful of everything that is going on every single day around you, because otherwise you're missing out on a lot of things, just focusing on something that it's to come, and I think it brings a lot of anxiety. And it gets you out of your energy. So yeah, make the choice to wake up every day and say, today I choose to be happy. That's my purpose today. I will only do things that make me happy and are in alignment with my own highest purpose. So I think that helps with the expectation and the anxiety. How do you feel about all the negativity attached now to the twin flames, and how it can feel people blocked out? Do you feel there are only certain number, as some say? Yes. I addressed this already. I don't know if you want to talk about it. Community, twin flame communities and channels and groups and.
What with regards to being careful?
Yes. Yeah, because there's a lot of what Liz is saying. There's a lot of negativity.
Yeah, there is a lot of negativity with regards to, you know, being posted in certain twin flame communities and, you know, being bounced around on certain channels and in communities. And it's not good. It's not good for any of us. It's not good for the collective. It's not good for you as an individual, and it's not good to engage and plug into that kind of that emotion, because all it does is lowers your own vibration, and it can really slow you down.
Yeah,
it can really slow you down on your own journey by plugging into those groups. So be very mindful of who it is you choose to connect with on this journey, and, you know, the groups that you join and the things you listen to and what you read, etc. So feel blocked out.
She's also asking if.
Do you feel there are only a certain number of times, as some say, 144,000? Personally, from my perspective, with regards to twin flames, I have received so many signs and messages with regards to 144,000 light workers that yes, it is my belief and my understanding from my point of view that yes, there are only 144,000 twin flames. You can disagree?
No, not at all. I was just gonna.
I'm waiting for it.
Lemon juice. No, I was just gonna say that I think what Liz was also saying is that there are certain people in those groups who are not twins. They think they are, you know?
Yes. So,
and so that's why there's a little bit of different energy, let's put it this way.
Yeah, that's why there is a lot of, you know, in some of the groups, I'll say it bluntly, a lot of negative energy being thrown around, because there are a lot of people that plug into those groups that all of a sudden, you know, there are a lot of people going through this shift in consciousness and going through the awakening process who aren't twins, and they get attached to the idea of being a twin flame. It's almost become like a trend, like, oh, how can I become a twin? Or, oh, am I a twin flame? Like, and a lot of them, sorry to say, aren't. And for that reason, there is a lot of different energies getting mixed around in certain groups.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because a lot of those people aren't twins, you know? And even on my own channel, I've had certain people post comments under videos that are so negative. I know myself straight away they're not a twin for a lot of them, you know? Some people have constructive criticism and valuable things to say, and I take everything on board. But there are certain people, you know, I look at and I'm like, I know they're not a twin. I can tell from looking, but I can also tell from their comments and their whole energy and the things that they say. So yeah, you really do have to be mindful of who you connect with and the groups you connect with on this journey, for the fact of protecting your own energy and not getting sucked into engaging in that kind of negativity, essentially, in that kind of vibration.
Well, I usually, when they ask me and they're not twins, I go like, no, dude, you're safe, you're good to go, you get a soulmate, yay.
Pretty much. Because I think a lot of people think it's like this fantastic thing, like, and don't get me wrong, it is in many respects, but they're like, oh, how can I become a twin flame? Or, oh, am I a twin? And so many people are like, yeah, I'm a twin flame. I'm like, dude, have you been through this for the last like 2, 3, 5, 10 years? Like, you know, if you're a twin, and believe me, if you had been, there'd probably be a small part of you just thinking, damn, I wish I wasn't. So.
Okay, just to wrap this up, because we're almost 2 hours already. Dimitra, does the DM sense the energetic shift happening with the DF at the moment? We're actually talking about it. If you do feel the energy shift with your twin, you feel it within you.
Yeah, actually, yesterday, for example, I became like very, very sad all of a sudden. And I actually explained it to Anna as Anna said, "How do you feel?" And I said, "I feel like my soul is crying."
Yeah.
Like I felt like my soul was bawling, and I quickly sort of came to the understanding that that emotion, that feeling, because I had no reason in what was going on at the time for that emotion just to come out of nowhere, that it was in fact, and it's something that happens as you go through this process and you evolve more and you develop more and you can tap into your own energy and differentiate between what's coming from you and what's coming from your twin, etc. There's lots of different contributing factors, but I came to the understanding that in fact that was coming from my twin and not myself. So yes, the divine masculine does sense the energetic shift happening with the, works both ways.
Yeah.
It works both ways, but the more you develop, I guess what you're saying from that is, does your counterpart as a DM sense the energetic shift? It's down to how far you are on your journey, your level of awareness, depends where he's at too, but eventually, if not at present, then yeah, he's going to eventually, just as you do, and just as I do.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. Okay, guys, I really want to wrap this up. I don't know if you have anything else that you would like to discuss.
No, I've not really got anything else to discuss today. Just what I said earlier, really, about what a lot of divine masculine are going through as a collective. And just remember that you're not alone in this process. And if there are things you can do to shift your energy, continue to do the things that you love. Don't close off like I did and like a lot of people have. Try not to turn to external things as distractions. And if you do, make them positive things, Healthy things, healthy choices, So
yeah.
Going and playing football or tennis or whatever it is, instead of sitting down and smoking cigarettes and drinking. That really will help you go through that process and to try to keep you from spiraling down.
Yeah. I'm done as well. I just wanted to let you know that I'll be posting as soon as I can translate everything into human language. I will be posting about the upgrade, integrate, overgrade, and all of that, so you can understand symptoms and how to deal with them. But yeah, I just wanted to bring you the awareness towards self-expression and how important that is. I think both of us, we learned a lot this weekend about self-expressing.
Yeah, for sure.
And being able to just say when something is not right, and just say it. I don't feel okay about it. I don't like it. Whether the other person, obviously with us it's different, and if we share with other twins, it's going to be different because they're going to do it without judgment, hopefully. But it's just get your voice back. Get your voice back. And every time that something happens that it doesn't resonate with you, speak your mind. Say it out loud, because you get so much power back every time you say no. You get so much power back. And you're not only getting power back from who you are today, but from all the experiences you had before. And so you are actually, like I explained to one of my clients the other day, you are literally opening the door where an older version of yourself is sitting in the dark and scared and trapped and not able to speak. And you open that door, you go get them, bring them outside, and close that door for good. So it's really for you to be able to go save that older version of yourself. Be your own hero. Every time you say no to something that you don't like, you are saving yourself. You're being your own hero. You're growing. So yeah, I just wanted to make you aware that we all have a voice. We should all be free and able to express ourselves. and to make sure that we do end toxic cycles in our lives, even if those cycles are you having negative talks with yourself, which is also important. So, you know, if you have to tell yourself to shut up sometimes, do it. It's also a good thing. Well, let me just check what else is here. I'm really trying to to say goodbye, but it's hard. Have you guys met your twin souls race family? We are actually soul family. That's why the connection. We're actually we're from the same soul family. I'm still trying to write on that, but it's so complex and so complicated. It has to do a lot with monads and twin rays and all of that. It's very complicated. And I know that Sienna was asking me on the group. There was someone asking me about twin rays the other day, and I really need to write more about that. But it's very complex. And to be quite honest, I only found out about twin rays back in July when I met Mike. And so I had a few drawings and a few downloads and all of that, but I'm still trying to gather all the information. But I'll definitely write more about that. That's it. Everybody's saying thank you and thank you.
You're very welcome.
All of you. We will definitely try to come back with more things. We're actually supposed to start doing the on my blog.
Oh yeah.
But someone is not very responsive to emails.
That's going through a bad time, basically.
No, but definitely, if you have any subjects that you would like to see discussed, please do let us know, because we can. What I always do with Mike is I present my feminine perspective, and he gives me the masculine, and we always find, you know, we always meet halfway to come up with something that works for the whole collective. So
yep,
that's our main purpose, is to raise the vibration of all of you. And that's it. Thank you for being with us.
Yeah, thank you guys. No doubt we'll be back at some point together
with more adventures, for sure.
Yeah. And more triggers.
Yes. Okay, you guys, I'm sending you a lot of love and a lot of light, and I hope to connect with all of you soon. Namaste.
Bye, guys.